Hi everyone, Lori Marie here, mixed media artist in Vallejo, California. Good morning, sun is up, yoga done, dog is walked, coffee is had, and dress is dipped. So, today's a big day. It's the first time I've ever done dipping on camera. It's not very pretty, the process is not very pretty, but the product is very pretty. The art piece is amazing. So this is what I did with our 2-page spread last time, where I just took you through the background technique. Here's the focal points that I put on mine. Some of you wanted to see it, so there that is. I still have wax all over my hands. And I cleaned up most of it off the kitchen table, so that was good. I had to, pardon me, I had to pick a couple of new winners because the winner of the grand prize did not respond, and one of the shopping bags did not respond. So Christina Oliveira, if you're out there, I've got a recycled, reusable bag for you. And Rachel Rosenberg, I have a secret compartment book for you. So if you want to respond in the comments, we can connect and I can get those in the mail to you. Also, the t-shirts have been a really big hit. If you want one and haven't ordered one, I have medium, large, extra large, and I'm placing an order for extra, extra large. And if you need a small, I can order that as well. I'm going to place an order because we went through, I don't know, almost 20 shirts, which is going to be amazing to see everybody in their shirts posted on the Our Village Facebook page, which will be so fun. So today, waxing. So anything else? Thank you, Patreon subscribers. I will get the directions, step-by-step directions to you for this waxing project. I want to get the video posted first, and then I'll get the directions off to you with a picture of the dress. Okay, so that will all be complete. And that's $10 a month if you don't know about the Patreon. And I think that's my check-in. So, see you on the table. All right, my villagers, we waxed a dress. We wax! Isn't she glorious? I think so. We had a couple of rips happen in the fabric. One here, I'm so going to leave it, and one in the arm, which I'm going to leave that one too. So she's not quite cool yet, so she's still a little bit flexible. But this isn't that going to be great, like to hang like in a, I don't know, hang on. I was thinking even like a lamp, because the LED light bulbs do not get hot enough to melt the wax. So if you travel with your dress and it gets little cracks in it, just hit it with a heat gun and it repairs everything. So there is our project for today. Okay, I have absolutely no business being on the table right now. I'm supposed to be putting dinner on the table. So, and I just walked the dog and it's 1,000 degrees outside. But here I am. So these are some of the choices that I picked out. These are Tim Holtz cards. Not my favorite to use the pre-printed, but we're going to for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make laser prints of all these, and I am going to make transfers onto book pages. So I'm going to take these to my printer and make some laser prints of them and get them ready for transfers, because I know I'll be up at dark o'clock tomorrow and handsome hubby will be sleeping, so it'll be a nice quiet thing for me to do in the morning. Here are my laser prints. These are blank on one side, they're old music pages. So I'm going to put the transfers on the back of here. The music paper, the music notes may come through when I wax it, but I am okay with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tear these out and put 3 coats of Mod Podge on each one. You guys all know how to do that. Good morning. Somebody overslept this morning. The sun is up. I am jumping right on the table this morning. I have my images that I'm going to use for my transfers. I want to talk to you a little bit about that. So for the transfers, it has to be a laser print copy of whatever images you're going to use. And I just have a black and white laser printer, so it's a bit of a handicap. So that's why I'm making images, or I'm sorry, that's why I'm making transfers, because I want them on old paper and I want them to have that vintage look to them. So if I had a color laser printer, I could have made copies of these and then just used the copies. But I want the vintage look, and I can't achieve that on my black and white printer. So it's an extra step for me, and I'm going to just embrace that because I do love transfers. So I have my laser prints, and each laser print will get 3 coats of Mod Podge, drying thoroughly between each layer. And when that's done, and I won't make you watch me put all 3 layers on the copies. You're welcome. Then we will start the transfer process. So it's going to be a fun day. Alright, we're going to put the second coat of Mod Podge on, and while I was sitting quiet, I decided that I'm not going to put these transfers on old pages. I'm going to put them on old fabric. And I have some cotton that I have coffee stained. It was just in my lace and fabric drawer. And so I'm going to put a transfer on that. My intention, anyway, is to rip the fabric into pieces about the size of these images and then transfer each one onto the fabric. So we shall see what transpires there, huh? Okie doke, I'm going in for the last layer of Mod Podge. Looks like I picked up a little bit of red ink from my work area. Little splotches. And I'm okay with that. A little bit of color never hurt anybody. While these dry, I'm going to rip the fabric into some pieces about the size of these images. And I'm choosing to rip them rather than cut them because I really want the frayed edge. A frayed edge? Oh boy, more coffee. So here are my images. Everybody has 3 coats on them. When the Mod Podge is dry, it's clear. Okay, so we have a milky spot here that is not quite dry. And then if you'll look down here, this one is still quite milky. I am a big fan of the heat stick or the heat gun, and I do dry my Mod Podge with that. What I can say is just don't get too close because it will bubble the Mod Podge. So make sure that all your images are dry, all the Mod Podge is dry, and then I'm going to grab my fabric. Okay, here's my coffee stained fabric. What I do need to say is this has a little word on it from the box. It says found relatives. So since this is going to be a transfer, you need to remember that this is going to be a mirror. So this will be backward on here, which I'll deal with that. I'm not too concerned about that at all. So I'm going to put some Mod Podge on these ladies. Now this would be the 4th layer of Mod Podge. And all strings attached. I'm leaving the strings on. If you are an ironing kind of a person, you might want to iron your fabric first so that there's no wrinkles. I, on the other hand, am not that kind of girl. So I'm just going to flatten it and really make sure that every bit is down. Don't want any bubbles in there. The bubbles will leave a vacant spot. Looks like it could use a little more Mod Podge up in there. And I'm going to do that with every image. Oh, this is going to be fun. One thing that I do want to say is when you put the Mod Podge, just put the Mod Podge on the image. Goobers not welcome. And then when you put the image on the fabric, do not put Mod Podge on the back of your image, because you're going to be rolling that paper off, and you do not want Mod Podge on there because then it's very difficult to remove the paper. So Mod Podge, image side only. Get wrinkles out as much as you can. Strings attached. No Mod Podge on the back. Okay? I have a few done. I have a few left to do. Now to make the coffee stained fabric, I just had some cotton, muslin, whatever fabric, not too thick. And I just took a very strong cup of coffee and I just scrunched the fabric down into the coffee and left it there. And then when I thought about it again, I just squeezed the coffee out and let it dry. You can let it dry all scrunchy to catch pockets of the coffee. You can dry it in the oven, which is really fun because then it makes it even more colorful. So nothing special, just some coffee and some time. And speaking of time, the hardest part is coming up right now, which is to wait for these transfers to dry on their fabric before we start rolling that paper off the back. So I have all of my images on their fabric. No Mod Podge on the back. I don't know how many images I'm going to use, but I have all of these ready. So, time for them to dry. So it's been a couple of hours, nice and dry. Just going to grab a little thing of spray water. And start to roll this off. We shall see what happens. There. It needs to break. You'll feel the paper kind of break. And then you just roll the paper off. And your image should be nicely secured onto the fabric. Nifty neato treat, huh? And then you just keep rubbing until it is smooth, smooth, smooth. There won't be any paper left on there. I promise you can take it right down. So this area, I can even see the grain in the fabric here. So you're just going to continue to remove the paper off all of your transfers. So hopefully you're ready for some meditation time, because this will take a minute. And it's so fun to do. Yes. All right, we'll come back when I get some of this done. Now she's pretty clean. You can see there's a couple of little cloudy spots here. A little bit of water on my finger. Too much is not good. Not enough is not good. So maybe just a little bit on your fingers, and then you can see that last little bit of paper roll off. Anywhere it's cloudy, that means there's a little tiny bit of paper there. Okay, one transfer done. Let's go on to the second. Same process. Sprinkle the back with water. Rub it until it breaks. And then just keep removing that paper. Second one done. Let's go in for the third. Number 3 done. All right, we're on our final one. Afternoon coffee. Yay! You will learn what is too wet and what is too dry to rub the paper off. It just takes practice. Just keep bonding with it. You won't be able to use your fingerprints to open up your iPhones if you have that, because there won't be any recognizable fingerprints left. So if you're in the mood to go rob a bank or something after you do your transfers, would be a really good time to do that. Okay, they are all done. What I'm going to do is just spray each one. Bring in a piece of crunchy paper towel and just go over each one like that. Now remember, I am here for inspiration only. If you know a better way to do this, please do. Some people say they like to use a toothbrush. I have tried that. My fingerprints, my fingertips work much better than a toothbrush. But everybody can do it differently. I also suggest that you not start off with 7 transfers on your dress. Maybe the dress that I'm playing with today is a long dress. So I have no idea how many of these I'm going to use, but I am prepared to use 7. They look great, huh? Okay, we're at a little bit of an angle here, but I'm able to lift this up so that you can see the dress more fully. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the transfers, and I am going to pin it to the dress. Now you know me, I'm not going to be real particular whether it's in the center or not. So I'm here for what? Inspiration only. So do what you need to do around centering that. Alright, I'm going to take the dress to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew very close to the edge of this picture. Now, not my fabric scissors, but my regular scissors, I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to trim off that bad edge. Okay, so I have that bad edge all trimmed out. Let's turn this dress right side out. Oh, it's so precious. Kind of fragile too. All right. I'm going to leave the strings. And what I'm going to do is, with my fabric scissors, I am going to make a little snip. I'm just going to rip the square out. Easier said than done. To expose that transfer. There we go. It's not going to be neat. And I am okay with whatever it decides to do at this point. Beautiful. All right, so that is pretty much in the center of the dress, which is awesome. And I'm going to do the same thing with a few of these pictures. Now I can be kind of choosy because I think we're only going to be using 4 more. So here's a little girl. That's kind of fun. The ladies, I don't know. What I'm thinking is maybe the baby and a girl and then happy couples. How about we do that? Happy couples. What do we have under here? Oh gosh, she's kind of cute too. Alright, so how about if we put a girl on this side with her dog, the happy married couple, which kind of look like parents, I don't know, and then the other adorable girl there. I think that's good. Can you see all 3? 1, 2, 3. Alright, so I'm going to pin them in place one at a time. I don't care if they're straight across or crooked, I don't care. But I'm going to take them and pin them, turn my dress inside out again. I will pin this in a place where I think I want it to be, and then I will sew it. So I went back over this with another stitching. It's a very loose stitching, which I really like, but it looked kind of wimpy with just one round of stitching, so I went through and did it again, and I caught the raw fabric, which I really, really like. So I'm going to go back in here and cut off the bad edge. bad edge is taken off. Go to this side, and if we remember correctly, it liked to tear this way easier. So, and I can see the grain is a little bit crooked, so I'll start in a little bit here. It did not like to tear this way so well, so I have to be kind of careful. Yum-alicious. Let's just rip you a little higher. There. All right, okay. I'm going to go in with the last two, the two girls. I'm going to pin them on the underneath side, sew them, cut them, rip them, and then we will be back. I'm not real particular that they're straight or evenly spaced. I don't care about all that. I love strings, I love ragged. Okay. Make sure everybody's facing the right direction. Everybody's on the outside of the dress. Nobody is upside down. There's our small child. There's the top of our dress. Here's our three pieces down here. This one's a little bit over. I might put some buttons here to counteract that. I think that's what I will do. Just put a couple buttons here to balance that. That's a great idea. All right. That's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow for the waxing. All right, let's visit the dress this morning. So these are spaced closer. These are spaced further. So that would be what we will call a problem. And so I'm going to sew these buttons on there, which will take up the space in there and add energy. There's a hole in the dress over here. And I'm just going to sew that just organically and leave some strings hanging for that wax to collect on. I'm not even going to knot the end of that thread. I'm just going to patch this wonderfully messy part of the charm of the whole dress. And when I sew the buttons, I will leave the strings from the buttons as well. And the wax will hold that in place. That's not going to be a problem. Let's sew that last button on together, shall we? So I'm just going to pop that needle in and out. And out there. Oh. You can hear my sister Ann Hudson playing in the other room. I'll just tie this off. I'm so excited to wax this dress this morning. And then I'll just leave those strings. Okay, we're ready. I have my fry pan with my, it's an organic, unbleached beeswax. I have used mine many times, so it's even darker in color than what yours will be when you first buy it. Here's our little dress. I mended a few little spots, and I did put 3 buttons here. I left the strings attached. We'll see how that goes. I do have the floor covered, and I have 2 bamboo sticks and a brush. All right, this is not a pretty process. Okay, there's nothing pretty about what I'm going to do, and it's different every time. So I'm just going to put the dress down in the wax. Push it all down in there. Make sure everything has wax on it. You may have more wax, you may have less wax. Just take a moment and let it all get soaked into your dress or whatever you're dipping. Tea bags, dress, whatever. And just poke it all down. Looks like we're all covered well. Now, of course, this is hot, 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 hot. I'm in the kitchen. I do have the windows open for ventilation. Now, my fabric is very fragile. So, I have to make sure that I don't poke holes in that fabric. And I try to get the bamboo thing in the sleeve. And if I poke a hole, I poke a hole. We'll be okay with that. Okay, now I'm just going to lift up the dress. You can see all the wax dripping off. I'm going to start separating the dress. You have a few minutes actually to manipulate your fabric, so you don't have to worry too much about burning those fingers. I'm glad handsome hubby's not home to see me dripping on the table with the wax. The wax is starting to cool a little bit now. So you can see how amber my wax is, and it's just because I've used it repeatedly. The new wax will be of a lighter color. I love the amber. But we use what we have, right? So you can see it's starting to take shape. Put my arm up in here, separate the top of the dress, get some volume going in there. Let's see if I can put this down a little bit so you can see. Right, I don't need these anymore because I can handle the dress. It's not so hot anymore. And I'm just going to go in here and separate the fabric. I think I just ripped the dress. That's okay. More character, right? Not a pretty process. So as you can see, you do have some time to be able to manipulate that fabric with the wax on it. I'd like for these sleeves to be a little bit open. Come on. Just looked at the camera to make sure we're on camera. I'd hate for you guys to miss this because I'm not doing this again to this dress. I can't. So where I have manipulated it after it cools, it gets kind of chunky looking. That's all right, we're going to take care of that. Don't you worry about that. Here. Oh. There she is. So let me grab the heat gun. I'm just going to go in here with the heat gun and kind of melt the areas that I touched that have a little bit too much texture, because we want it kind of smooth. Form that open, let it cool for a moment, then I'll hit the other sleeve. Okay, here's your project for today. Go create, go play, go have fun.